Hey everyone, and welcome to the next chapter in my Arkham series review. And this time, we're going to take a look at the third game to be released, Batman Arkham Origins, released in 2013. This game was essentially what W Games Montreal gave fans in the time before Arkham Knight was released. So standing with the tradition that each Arkham game came out in 2 years, every 2 years. This game is pretty good, but I wouldn't exactly call it great. It's essentially, we're entering Batman's early career as a crime fighter. It's already 2 years into his career, and this game actually takes place on Christmas Eve, or around Christmas time, which was actually pretty good. It's kind of like Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales that takes place during the Christmas holidays. But yeah, it's a pretty good game nonetheless. Basically, Batman realizes that the gangster Black Mask has hired 8 assassins to kill him, putting a $50 million bounty on his head. So Batman basically has to beat all the assassins just so he can keep the city safe. And he's also learning how... But then again, he's still in the early days of his career, so he's still learning to trust others. And pretty much, he has a bit of a rivalry with Police Captain Gordon, who is basically helping the police force to track down Batman, because the police want to capture him and lock him up and arrest him because they don't want vigilantes in here. And they didn't exactly bring Kevin Conroy back to voice Batman. They brought in Roger Craig Smith, who is a darn good voice actor. Roger Craig Smith is one of my favourite voice actors of all time. Many of you may recognise him as Captain America in a few Marvel animated series. Some of you may recognise him as Chris Redfield from the Resident Evil games. Some, especially me, may recognise him as Sonic the Hedgehog from the Sonic the Hedgehog series, and he's been voicing the character since 2010. But his Batman voice is fantastic. He does a great job at playing a younger, gruffier, more aggressive version of Batman, and he did a darn good job. And that's also the case with when he met the Joker for the first time. They brought in Troy Baker instead of Mark Hamill. Troy Baker did a great job at voicing the Joker. Absolutely fantastic. And since it was younger versions of the character, I completely understand why they would bring in understudy voice actors. The gameplay, by the way, is basically pretty much the same as Arkham City, except you're not in Arkham City. You're pretty much in a big Gotham City, and it's essentially where you go around, patrol the city, and beat up any criminal that gives you any trouble, or police officer. Although you shouldn't really do that, but you know what the heck. We also get to meet all sorts of villains like Killer Croc, Bane, Firefly, Deadshot, and even Deathstroke. And this game even lets you play as Deathstroke in DLC for the challenge maps, which is really, really cool. Because we've had all sorts of playable characters over the years, like extra playable characters. Asylum gave us the chance to play as the Joker. City gave us a chance to play as Catwoman, Robin, and Nightwing. And Origins gave us a chance to play as Deathstroke. So that's pretty cool. And it's even cooler by the fact that Deathstroke was one of the bosses of the game. And if you ask me, Deathstroke's fight is probably the best fight in the game. It's essentially, it's just fantastic. You're facing off against each other in a classic hand-to-hand fight, and you need to counter a few things there and there, and you actually knock out his mask and destroy his staff and knock him out on the hilt of his sword. It's fantastic. So basically, Arkham Origins is a good prequel to the Arkham series, and not to mention it's a good game overall, even though Rocksteady were not involved in it, because they were involved in Asylum and City. Even though they weren't involved with this game, they did still a pretty good job. And what's more, on the back of the box, take on your friends in an all-new multiplayer mode. Play as Batman, Robin, or an elite member of Joker or Bane's gang. This game supports live multiplayer. Yeah, that is unbelievable. Online multiplayer game in a Batman game. That's amazing. So yeah, it just like it says on the box, you can play as Batman or Robin or as Joker or Bane's gang. If you're either Batman or Robin, you basically have to take out as many thugs as you can and fill your intimidation bar. But if you're playing as either Joker or Bane's gang, you basically need to win by basically killing all the rival gang members. I have played it a few times, the online multiplayer, and I will say it's not the best extra mode by any means, but it's still a darn good multiplayer. Sadly, I don't think anybody is still playing it today, so if you ever wanted to try out the online mode, I don't think you'll find that many people to play it with. Probably the best thing to do is look for a YouTube video of it, because there are so many people who will have uploaded multiplayer gameplay on their channels, but, you know. So, do I recommend Arkham Origins? Yes, I do. Because it's a fantastic prequel to what is essentially one of the best superhero video game stories ever made. It gives us a good relationship between Batman and Alfred. It helps Batman learn to trust others. And an amazing confrontation between Batman and the Joker. It's an absolutely fantastic game. And you guys are doing yourself a disservice by not playing this. But yeah, it's not as good as City. It's essentially just another version of City, but not with a story that isn't exactly as good as that last game. But it's still a darn good game. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Join me next time where I will be concluding this series review with Batman Arkham Knight. See you next time.